Oh, it's Chris and Derek of Penny's Hot Rods and Customs, or Dirty Garage is us. Part 2 of making this damn clutch fork work. So we decided not to go buy a new clutch fork and a Dodge pressure plate because we found out that the pressure or the release bearing is actually smaller than the Chevy that the shaft that it rides on, and so we would have to so much modification. So what we ended up doing is that's the pivot point for the we ended up cutting it and lifting it up, so that gets us closer to the pressure plate, and we braced it up and everything, and so that will go there. Before it was a little bit shorter, and so too short for what we had to use it for, so we went this route. Easier one, so now we're just gonna put that in and just double check that it's gonna work, and then we can start moving on with doing the slave cylinder on this thing. So I'm gonna climb underneath and bolt this in there, and hopefully it works. So we'll be back once I get this all bolted in there. And
and it's another crappy day outside. Oh, this is depressing. Too much damn wind and too much rain and a little bit of snow.
And we even tried grinding out here a little bit to give us a little bit more room, and so trying everything. I think we've got it licked. Almost there. Very tight spot. Okay. Clutch fork. Now it's holding it. Oh, nothing. Okay, we finally made some progress. Clutch fork is in there. We just had to grind off a little bit of the bell housing here to get it in. And we got a makeshift spring. We'll get something better. And we actually made a bracket for our slave cylinder. I'll show you. I'll go underneath now. I'll show you underneath. There's our clutch fork, our slave cylinder. We just welded this little bracket onto our master cylinder bracket here. We got a Heim joint there. We got adjustment there. We got adjustment on this side. We'll tie that up, and that's just a braided brake line going to our master cylinder. There's no fluid in it, brake fluid or anything in there. We still haven't gotten to that point yet. See in there, that's our clutch. But in theory, everything should work. This is nicely welded. It's only going to be pressure force going forward and back on that. That shouldn't have a problem. And the only issue we may have is this is a pull type, and it pulls 1.3 inches that way. So if this is the original anchor point for the mechanical leverage, if it doesn't pull the release bearing enough, then we might have to move this closer, move it in, and then we get more leverage and more movement in the throat bearing. But we're just yeah, there's some light. Yeah, so we may have to move this here, wherever we get the proper amount of throw. But for now, we're gonna bleed this, then we're gonna test it and see if we get enough throw here. If not, then we'll have to start modifying, drilling holes in the clutch fork. But yeah, it's nice and tidy under there. There's the master cylinder, brake light switch. Yeah, so finally getting somewhere. Hopefully, Derek had to make a little aluminum bronze bushing there, so that pivots there, and then we got the Heim joint there that will pivot. So yeah, we're just gonna bleed it right now, and yeah, see if our hard work is paid off. Oh, and we have finished the brake lines, the brake system. We bled. It's all been bled. Everything works. The pedal works. It stops the. It locks everything up, so no leaks in the brake system. Thanks to that new brake tool. That thing worked wonders. But yeah, we'll add some fluid into the master cylinder, which is through the cab floor there, and start bleeding it. Okay, we've bled the brakes, and everything seems to work fairly excellently. There's Derek pushing the clutch fork or pedal, and the fork is moving. We do need a stronger spring, because it needs to be pulled back like that. But everything's working good. I'll take you back underneath. And we have a little bit of flooding issue, so don't mind the water. Okay, push the clutch in. So everything is nice and bled. We'll tie this up. That's not an issue. And it seems. Okay, release it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see the diaphragm
Yeah, I'll open it.
going in and out. And this is where we need the heavy duty or heavier spring, because when he releases it,
I let go of it.
we need a heavier spring to bring that back like that. So there's a little bit of gap there. So, okay, push the clutch in, and then see, I can move the clutch disc freely with my fingers. So everything works the way it's supposed to, I guess. Yeah, and this just needs to be painted, but we've got to get a proper bolt in there, but everything's coming up roses on this clutch. Well, in this clutch video, anyways. Yeah, just tie this up properly, but we still have to lift the cab off a bit to clean all this crap. But now, since that's done, we can actually pull the motor and tranny out and start working on the motor, rebuilding the motor. Getting that, and then finishing up the firewall. There's this side of the... Oh, we got a leak. Yep. I think that's just coming out of the... that's just coming out of the cap. That's why. It's just... I didn't tighten the cap enough. Silly me. Yeah. That's why. I'll do that. One thing we came across when we didn't film it, but when we were bleeding the brakes, is this little... the adjustable proportioning valve. Don't buy a cheap one. This is a cheap one off Amazon, and it doesn't work. We basically have this thing, the valve all the way out, and that's the only way we could get pressure to the back wheels. And we tried turning it in to get actually, you have to turn it. You're supposed to turn it in 100% to get 100% pressure. Once you turn it in, you get zero pressure. So yeah, don't buy. That was only like $15 off Amazon. Don't buy cheap ones. We got a
better one,
a Speedway one, but it's a cheap Speedway one. But it's actually, that's the exact same one I got in my car, and it worked perfectly. So we still got to replace that, but it's not leaking or anything. The brakes work perfectly. It's just we got 100% braking on the back right now, so that's got to go in. So yeah, this is good news. The clutch works perfectly. We'll have to obviously do some adjusting once we get the motor running and the truck moving on its own power, but for two guys in a dirty garage, I think that's damn excellent. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one, which will be probably more body work, more sanding, more grinding on the 52 Studebaker. So see you later. Subscribe and all that comment stuff.